Welcome back, folks. Glad you could take part of your holiday season with us. I'm Bobby Broyles, along with Eric Weberg, CA Football's Director of Communications, for this episode of This Week in CA Football, powered by GEICO. Eric, great to have you on. Happy holidays, and you got some pretty big shoes to fill today with Tim McDonald at home enjoying his holiday vacation, but I'm sure you'll do just fine.
Yeah, big shoes indeed to fill. Tim's great on this. I can't promise any impressions or nicknames like Tim likes to give, but I promise I'll do my best.
Thank goodness. Need a little break from those. Unfortunately, Eric, the lone remaining league team in the FCS playoffs, New Hampshire, saw its season end on Saturday as the Wildcats fell to Illinois State in the dungeon. Eric, you were there live. The Wildcats seemed to be in control most of this game, but weren't able to hold on in the fourth quarter. What went wrong for the Wildcats at the end?
Well, I think first it's important to point out that it's not what went wrong for New Hampshire. I think it's more what went right for Illinois State. Yeah. It's not like New Hampshire turned the ball over. There weren't a lot of penalties. They just got beat in the end by a really good team. UNH was really dominant defensively through the first three quarters. Illinois State averages 39.1 points per game this season. They had just 6 through the first three quarters. Marshawn Copperidge for Illinois State averages 155 yards per game, held at just 3.3 yards per carry by New Hampshire. New Hampshire was obviously 2 scores up for the majority of the game going into the fourth quarter, but they really missed a few chances, we thought, to extend that lead. Thinking specifically a couple Sean Goldrich overthrows where R.J. Harris had gotten behind the defense that really could have extended that lead and probably put it out of reach for Illinois State. But then in the fourth quarter, Illinois State's rushing attack really started to take over. Copperidge, again, who'd been bottled up for most of the game, started to get his yards. And then obviously the key play midway through the fourth quarter where Illinois State quarterback Trey Roberson runs 47 yards for a score, gives the Redbirds the lead for good. Now, I also thought injuries really hurt New Hampshire down the stretch. Both starting cornerbacks got hurt in the game, including their all-conference corner Casey DeAndre, and also R.J. Harris, who'd had a big game. All-American wide receiver for New Hampshire, wasn't on the field for the Wildcats' final drives when they were trying to score again. So again, I don't want to say that New Hampshire, it's a cliche, but I don't want to say they lost the game. I think Illinois State won the game. It was 2 good teams, a great game. Unfortunately, one team had to lose, and unfortunately that team was New Hampshire.
It was a fantastic game at the dungeon that night. With all that said, we have to congratulate head coach Sean McDonald and the Wildcats for a historic season for UNH. They have nothing to hang their heads about, Eric, as this team accomplished so much this season.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Bobby. It was just a historic year for UNH. Just looking at the laundry list of accolades, they won the CA Football regular season title, went undefeated in league play. Their only loss was to an FBS team. R.J. Harris, again, the receiver, finishes the league's all-time leader in receptions. He actually broke that record on Saturday. Sean McDonald, their coach, again, wins the Eddie Robertson Award, the best coach in the nation. UNH reached #1 in the nation in both polls late in the season, and then we're obviously the #1 team in the playoffs. And also just want to give a shout out to the more than 20 seniors for New Hampshire that made back-to-back semifinal appearances. Obviously they wish they could have gone to Frisco one of these last 2 years, but a great accomplishment for them. And again, just a great season. Really proud of what New Hampshire did from the league perspective.
Indeed. Once again, congrats to New Hampshire on a fine season. As for us, Tim McDonald and I will return for our season finale of This Week in CA Football on Wednesday, January the 7th to wrap up 2014. We also plan on recording one final Yak podcast for your listening pleasure. For now, continue to follow the league on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram by searching CA Football and using the hashtag CAAFB. You can also catch the latest happenings around the conference at cafootball.com and CA Football's Everyday is Saturday blog at cafootball.wordpress.com. Eric, great job. Thank you for filling in. I hope you had a good time.
Well, I enjoyed it, but all I can say is don't worry, fans. Tim will be back next week.
We can't wait. On that note, all of us at CA Football wish you a safe and happy holidays, and we will see you in the new year.